After the age of 70, nearly 99% of deaths happen for just 5 main reasons. Now, that might sound a little scary at first, but here's the good news. Many of these causes are preventable, or at least manageable, with the right habits and a little bit of knowledge. That's exactly what we're going to talk about today. In this video, we'll walk through these 5 big risks, but more importantly, we'll focus on what you can do to avoid them. Because the goal isn't just to live longer, it's to live better, with more vitality, joy, and independence. So, let's get started with the first one. The first big risk, heart disease. If there's one thing doctors have been telling us for decades, it's that heart health is everything, and for good reason. Heart disease remains the leading cause of death for seniors. But here's the thing. It's not just about bad luck or genetics. So much of it comes down to the choices we make every single day. Take my friend Charlie, for example. At 73, he was always complaining about being tired, out of breath, and just not feeling like himself. He figured it was just part of getting older. But when he finally went to the doctor, he found out his blood pressure was through the roof, and his arteries were starting to get clogged. The doctor told him that if he didn't make some changes, he was heading straight for a heart attack. Now, Charlie could have just shrugged and said, well, that's life. But instead, he decided to take action. He started with small steps, cutting back on salt, adding a short walk after dinner, and swapping out processed snacks for fresh fruits and nuts. Within a few months, his energy was back, his blood pressure was under control, and he felt better than he had in years. The lesson here? Heart disease doesn't have to be inevitable. Small, consistent changes can make a huge difference. Things like moving your body every day, eating more whole foods, and keeping an eye on your blood pressure can literally save your life. The second big risk, respiratory diseases. Now let's talk about something that doesn't get enough attention, our lungs. As we age, lung function naturally declines a little, but smoking, pollution, or even just a lifetime of poor posture can make things much worse. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, pneumonia, and other respiratory issues are a major concern for seniors. But here's the encouraging part. Our lungs are incredibly resilient. Even if you smoked for years, quitting now can still drastically improve your health. And if you've never smoked, there are still simple habits to keep your lungs strong. One of the best things you can do? Deep breathing exercises. It sounds too simple to make a difference, but trust me, it works. Try this. Every morning, sit up straight, take a slow deep breath in through your nose, hold it for a few seconds, and then exhale fully. Do this 5 times. It strengthens your diaphragm, improves oxygen flow, and can even help reduce stress. Another tip? Stay active. You don't have to run a marathon. Just regular movement like walking or gentle stretching helps keep your lungs functioning well. And if you've ever had a nagging cough or shortness of breath that won't go away, don't ignore it. A quick checkup with your doctor can catch small issues before they become big problems. There are 3 more key areas we need to talk about, including one that surprises a lot of people. Before we proceed, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel. You know, when we're younger, we often take our health for granted. We bounce back quickly, push through fatigue, and don't give much thought to the little aches and pains. But as the years go by, we start to realize just how much our bodies rely on us to take care of them. And that's not a bad thing. It's wisdom. Because when we know what to watch out for, we can make choices that keep us feeling strong and vibrant for years to come. So, let's keep moving forward and talk about the next big risk that affects so many seniors and what we can do about it. The third big risk, falls and fractures. Here's something that might surprise you. Falls are one of the leading causes of injury and even death for people over 70. And it's not just about slipping on a wet floor or missing a step. As we age, our balance, vision, and bone strength naturally change, making us more vulnerable to serious falls. But here's the good news. Falls are not an inevitable part of aging. In fact, there are so many simple things we can do to stay steady on our feet. First, let's talk about balance. You might not think about it much, but balance is like a muscle. If you don't use it, you lose it. That's why exercise like standing on one foot while brushing your teeth, holding onto the counter for support, of course, can make a big difference. My neighbor Helen started doing simple balance exercises after a close call on her porch steps. Now, at 82, she's more confident on her feet than she was a decade ago. Another often overlooked factor? Footwear. Those loose slippers or worn-out shoes can be accident waiting to happen. Investing in a good pair of non-slip supportive shoes might seem like a small thing, but it can prevent a life-altering fall. Next, take a look around your home. Little things like loose rugs, poor lighting, or cluttered walkways can turn into big hazards. A few easy fixes, like adding nightlights in hallways, installing grab bars in the bathroom, or keeping frequently used items within easy reach, can make your home safer without much effort. And let's not forget about bone strength. Osteoporosis is a silent thief, weakening bones without any warning. But calcium, vitamin D, and weight-bearing exercises, even just walking, can help keep your bones strong. If you haven't had a bone density test, ask your doctor. It's one of those things that's easy to overlook, but so important to check. The fourth big risk, stroke. Now let's talk about strokes. They can happen suddenly and without much warning, but the truth is they're often years in the making. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, and uncontrolled diabetes are some of the biggest culprits. Many strokes are preventable with the right habits. Take my cousin Frank. He was always the I'll worry about it later type, ate what he wanted, rarely exercised, and ignored his doctor's advice about his blood pressure. Then, one morning, he woke up with slurred speech and a weak arm. Thankfully, he got help fast and recovered, but it was a wake-up call. Today, he's diligent about his medication, takes a daily walk, and keeps an eye on his diet. And you know what? He says he feels better now than he did in his 60s. The key here is awareness. Know your numbers, blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood sugar. If they're high, work with your doctor to manage them. And don't ignore warning signs like sudden dizziness, confusion, or numbness. Getting help fast can save your life. Another big factor, hydration. Many seniors don't drink enough water, and dehydration can thicken the blood, making clots more likely. Keep a water bottle handy and sip throughout the day. We've covered 4 major risks so far, and hopefully you're already feeling empowered with some practical ways to protect yourself. But there's one more critical area we need to discuss, and it's one that doesn't always get the attention it deserves. So let's dive into the 5th and final risk and how you can stay ahead of it. This last one might surprise you because it's not just about physical health. It's about staying connected, engaged, and mentally sharp. Because when we neglect our emotional and social well-being, it can take just as big a toll on our health as any physical condition. But don't worry, just like everything else we've talked about, there are simple, enjoyable ways to keep this risk at bay. Let's talk about how. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please take a moment to do so and like our content. The 5th big risk, social isolation and cognitive decline. Here's something that might surprise you. Loneliness can be just as dangerous to an older person's health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. And cognitive decline isn't just about forgetting where you put your keys. It's about losing the vibrant, sharp mind that makes you who you are. But here's the wonderful truth. Your brain is capable of growing new connections at any age. And meaningful relationships? They're like vitamins for your soul. Let me tell you about my friend Martha. After her husband passed, she spent nearly a year barely leaving her house. Then one day, her granddaughter signed her up for a community painting class. At first, Martha resisted. "I'm not an artist," she said. But that class changed everything. She made new friends, discovered a passion, and at 81, she just had her first art show at the local library. The point is this: staying socially and mentally active isn't just about adding years to your life. It's about adding life to your years. Here are some simple but powerful ways to do it. First, make social connections a priority, not an afterthought. That might mean joining a book club at the library, volunteering at an animal shelter, or even just making a point to chat with your neighbors. Technology can help too. Video calls with family, Facebook groups about your hobbies, or even playing online games with friends across the country. For your brain, challenge it in new ways every day. That could be learning a few words of a new language while you drink your morning coffee, doing crossword puzzles, or taking a different route when you walk the dog. The key is novelty. When you surprise your brain, you strengthen it. But here's what's most important to remember. You don't have to tackle everything at once. Small, consistent changes add up to big results over time. Maybe today you'll decide to take that balance exercise I mentioned. Next week, you might call an old friend you haven't spoken to in a while. The point is to keep moving forward, one step at a time. As we wrap up, I want you to remember this. Getting older isn't about limitations. It's about possibilities. It's about using all the wisdom you've gathered over the years to create your healthiest, happiest life yet. Every positive choice you make is a gift to your future self. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's one small change you're going to make after watching this? Maybe you've already discovered something that keeps you feeling young at heart. Share your thoughts. Your experience could inspire someone else. If you found this helpful, give the video a like. It helps others find this important information. And consider subscribing if you haven't already. We create new content to help you live your best life at any age. Remember, the years may pass, but your ability to enjoy life, to learn, to grow, to connect, that only gets stronger when you nurture it. Here's to your health, your happiness, and to making every moment count. Until next time, take care of yourself.